Hey, if you ever seen things like at row or a column name with a number next to it, or strange reference behavior and thoughts, what does that even mean? So in this video, we'll finally make relative and absolute references make sense in plain English. A simple definition: a reference tells your formula where to look. That's it. Now there are two types: your relative reference and your absolute reference. Your relative reference moves depending on where the formula is. An absolute reference stays locked in one place. Think of it like this. So relative basically equals flexible, and absolute equals locked. Example, under my relative column, my relative formula will end in at row. For my absolute column using the column name absolutes with a one number next to it, that will be my absolute value, right? So it will only focus here, while my row will focus there. All right, so if we're going to do an example for relative values, I'm going to use this table here. So budget, actual, and total. Say my budget will be 100 and my actual is 80. How do I figure out the difference? So if I type equals and then simply click on the cell, it will automatically by default set at row. Then say I want to do minus the actual. Again, by default, it's at row. Enter does the value between the differences. If you wanted to set this as a column formula, you could. So if I'm going to say 100 again and 40, it will automatically do my calculations. So it doesn't matter if you do it now, you do it later, it will populate the right information. And that's what makes column formulas like great. Okay, using the same example, now we are going to get into the absolute right reference point. So we know we changed this to a column formula. Let's convert this to a cell. This was your calculation, right? So budget at row minus actual row. This is looking at anything that's in here under the budget for 100, actual value, and then your total value. So instead of using, let's say, the entirety of the row, instead of it moving with each row down, we want to say, okay, actual, and I'm going to anchor to the first cell in row 1. So this basically is saying 100 minus 80 equals 20. If I want this to scale down, this is going to populate this information. The way Smartsheet likes to do anchored points, right? It's going to be, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste this budget at row to actual 1. Every time it's going to anchor to that actual first cell. So 100 minus 80, 20, 12 minus 80, negative 68. So unlike Microsoft Excel, Smartsheet doesn't use $signs the same way. Instead, it locks based on specific row numbers, named ranges, or structured references. Absolute means this exact cell do not move. So why this confuses people? In Excel, you see $A, $1. In Smartsheet, you see column name 1 or cross sheet references inside curly brackets. It looks different, but the idea is the same. Relative adjusts, absolute locks. Smartsheet just hides the complexity behind structured references. All right, so let's go into the column formula of relative versus absolute. All right, so we're going to go into equals total at row. Again, at row means just default. Enter value. See, that's my column formula that I want to use. Right click, go down to convert to column formula, and it gives me every single one of these. Now, if I attempted to do, instead of at row, and type in the 1 and do a convert to column formula, it will not do it. It does not like that syntax. If you want this to value down, you're going to have to copy and paste all the way through so that way you can get the values found in there. So as you see, it's automatically giving me total 3, total 2, and total 1. And a simple rule to remember, if you remember nothing else, remember this. If it says at row, It moves with the row. If it has a specific row number, it stays locked. Relative equals moves, and absolute equals fixed. That's it. Now that you understand references, the next step is learning how to build your first logical formulas using if statements. That's where things get powerful. I'll see you in the next video.